What's good, DOXAHOLICS? My name is Rorvis Paradox, aka Dox Brando, and I'd like to welcome you all to another installment of Rorvis Reviews. Today's episode is called What is Real, and that is because I will be covering the entire Matrix series. This is the first time I'm covering an entire series in one episode, and I am excited about it. Um, Quick spoiler warning because I will be talking about crucial points, plot points of the series. And some of you all are saying, why are you giving a spoiler warning on a highly regarded series? And to that, I say that you may never know what someone has seen, and you just never know what they haven't seen. So I think that's just fair to just keep that heads up for them. Remember to hit that notification bell so you don't miss when videos drop. Also follow me on IG at DocsBrando25 to stay up to date. Now, with all that being said, let's get into it. Now, the first film I'm going to talk about is 1999, The Matrix, directed by the Wachowskis. This film was utter brilliance at its finest. Before watching this film, I knew some of its impact on pop culture, but actually seeing this masterpiece for myself changes everything. The film starts off with an amazing action scene with the character Trinity that sets the tone for the audience and the film in general. This leads to us meeting Thomas Anderson, a corporate computer programmer who lives a double life. And his other life is he is Neo, a hacker who has been dying to know the answer to the question, what is the Matrix? And this is where we get to just go through this whole journey with Neo. He is just so interested in what the Matrix is, and he wants to get the chance to meet someone that's legendary as a hacker who's being dubbed a domestic terrorist by the name of Morpheus. And once he gets a call from Morpheus, he has the chance to, escape his life. But because it's a little bit too dangerous for him to handle, he ends up getting arrested. And this is where we meet the character Agent Smith. And he interrogates him on, we're looking for this terrorist and we're gonna need this information. And, Neo being, kind of brash and, kind of rebellious, he decides to, flip him off and, says that he wants his phone call. And this is where I get surprised by this film. Agent Smith goes, how can you make your call if you can't talk? And, when you hear that, it makes me, usually I think, they might cut the person's tongue out. So I was really prepared for that. But instead, Neo chuckles, and when he tries to chuckle, his mouth starts to melt together. So literally there's no mouth at all. And you just hear him trying to this muffled screaming coming out of his mouth. And it's just utter horror. And this is where the other agents, they gang up on him, and they put this metal creature on his stomach, and it just burrows into his stomach through his belly button, and he just wakes up. And just from that one sequence alone, I was just like, oh my God. I was just in utter terror of just that whole situation. And this is where he gets another chance to meet Morpheus. He calls him again and he tells him a location, and he is transferred with Trinity and some other people. And this is where we see another grotesque scene to Neo surprised that what happened wasn't just a dream. There was a robot of some kind in him being used as a tracker of some sort. And the way they just ripped it out, it was just I get shivers just thinking about it. And then this is where we get the beautiful and iconic interaction with him and Morpheus when they first meet. And this is where you get the iconic scene of, blue pill, you get to go back to your life, and it'll be like nothing ever happened. But the red pill, if you take it, we can go further down the rabbit hole. I'll show you the truth. The truth is for yourself to find out. You have to choose it. He chooses the red pill. They go through a whole thing. And this is where my mind explodes, because we find out that what we thought was the real world was not the real world. This is not reality. that wasn't his real reality. He wakes up in like a pod of some kind, hooked up, wires all drilled into his back of. Oh, it's just the body horror of it was superb. But he had a tube down his throat. He takes it out, and he's like, he had a wire of some kind. He's like an audio jack into his brain. And this is when we find out, like, this is the reality, because he looks up and sees there's over millions or billions of other people in the same situation as him, but they're still in those pods. And Morpheus in the real world comes to rescue him, and lets him know that, yeah, what you thought was the real world was absolutely not. It was bogus. And this is where he breaks it down to him that nobody knows what happened, but between artificial intelligence versus humans, somebody struck and machines fought back hard, and it led to a world where they use humans as an energy source, or as Morpheus tells Neo, as a battery. And this whole sequence was just phenomenal to its core. It's just like the breakdown and the shock on Neo's face was just, oh. But going on, we get to the point where Morpheus is certain. He believes that Neo is the one. He's the chosen one. He's the Messiah. He's the savior that's going to be able to win this war where there can be peace, and no one has to worry about the machines. And funny enough, what I thought was kind of, I don't know if it's lazy or if it was genius, but Neo's name is an anagram for one. So he's literally the one. So I was just like, oh my God, well, who comes up with this stuff? But to continue, so the journey becomes Neo's, the film becomes about Neo trying to figure out if his destiny is true or not, if he truly is the one. And what I loved about it is when he gets to meet the oracles, kind of like the person that can see into the future, whatnot. But she kind of lays it out where it's not like the entire future. She still believes that people have a choice to make their future the reality of some kind. So she says he isn't the one. And, he kind of doubt himself or whatnot, but Morpheus never loses faith. And she also says that, it might come between him dying or Morpheus dying. And Morpheus sacrifices himself for they can escape, for he can, continue on his destiny. But Neo's like, he saved my life. He brought me out, and we need his leadership. We need him. So he goes back and they do a mission to break Morpheus out. And this is where we get to see there's some flaws with Agent Smith. The agents are kind of like the police of the Matrix. They kind of make sure the people are in check as well as other programs are in check. So he makes the other agents leave, and he has this conversation with Morpheus, and he takes out his earplug, takes off his sunglasses, and he's just like spewing hatred. Like he just really hates humans. And this is so different from the others, because like everybody else is kind of following line, but him, he's like really like spewing his hatred, and just like Hugo Weaving is going crazy in his role with this. But this is when Neo, they're able to go crazy, do another crazy action scene in the lobby, kill a whole bunch of security guards. Neo's in his bag, Trinity's in her bag. It's just a great sequence, and they get a chopper for they can break Morpheus out. And this is when we get some scenes where Neo is doing some, the chosen one type things in rescuing Trinity and some other scenes. And then, Morpheus all like, there's one way of believing you're the one, and there's one actually doing it. And I think that was so well put and well done. Just because you say you're chosen one doesn't mean you're chosen one. You have to actually, walk the walk. And Neo was learning to walk the walk. And I wouldn't say he was full the one yet, because we get to see, the iconic bullet scene of him dodging the bullets, kind of like in slow-mo. But like what was funny to me, because I know this scene and I've seen it parody over and over, but what I didn't know, because I never seen the full scene, that he ends up getting clipped by some shots. So it's like excellent. He did a great job of dodging the first bullets, but he still got some cleaning up to do. But this what leads to him. They separate. They try to get back into their ship to get back to the real world, and Agent Smith stops him. So now we're having the first real showdown between Agent Smith and Neo, and they are boxing. They are going crazy, hand to hand combat. First it starts with a shoot off, but they're both dodging the bullets. They enter the clips, and they're just like, you know what, we just gonna squabble, bro. So they're going at it, jab, jab, punches, and Agent Smith is like just one of the ones. Morpheus told Neo early on that, you know, some of these agents, you know, they can dodge bullets and they can just like punch through concrete wall, and Agent Smith is doing that. He's just like smashing through everything, and once he do get Neo corner, he's hitting him with some crazy rib shot combos, just rapid fire on him. And Neo, you know, finally does get the upper hand on him, escapes, and he starts to run off, and he's trying to do the escape like they're guiding him to where to go, and Agent Smith is there and he kills him. And you know, Agent checks his pulse and everything. Neo is technically dead, but Trinity starts talking to him and just like, hey, you have to wake up, you have to be alive, because I'm supposed to be in love with the chosen one, and I know I love you. Boom, kiss, yada yada. He gets up and he's like, I am the chosen one, all that type shit. And Agent shooting bullets at him. Pop, 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 pop. And this is where he gets up, just points his hand out and just stops all the bullets. All of them stop and just drop to the floor. And we see something crazy. Neo jumps into Agent Smith and like causes him to like just explode. And he explodes out of him. And then the other agents see that and just walk off and just like run off. And now the end is Neo going on telling, kind of giving a warning to the machines that, you know, I'm gonna try to wake up as many people as I can, and you know, it's on site, yada yada. And that's how it closes. And then Rage Against the Machine Wake Up starts playing. Roll credits. Beautiful film. I don't want to go into ratings right now. I don't want to go into highlights. I kind of just want to get into talking about the next film, but you will hear how I feel about this towards the end. Now, the next film I'm going to talk about is Matrix Reloaded, released in 2023. Again, directed by the Wachowskis. This film is definitely, I think it's one of the great. It's a great sequel. I think if there was a bracket for sequels, I think Reloaded would be on there. I don't know where it would go, how many rounds it would last, but it's up there. In the film, 6 months have passed since the end of the first film. So, you know, we're at the point where Neo has been the one for a little bit of a while, and he's definitely more comfortable, and, you know, he's fighting way better, way more intricate with things and whatnot. And, you know, he's able to sense things now. At the end of the first film, he's actually able to see the code, the Matrix, and like in real time. So like, what he sees is like just like the agents, he sees like the code that they're made from, which is very interesting. So this is what he's going through now in his transformation. And the people that because it's not just, you know, Morpheus and the crew, they all are living and residing in a place called Zion. This is the last place with humans that are like fighting against the machines. And, you know, we have some people that weren't just like the rest of the there's a difference between like the people that are just naturally born, who don't have any other connection, and the people that were kind of like bred and that were like kind of born to be within the Matrix, to be used as batteries. So all these people live together in harmony to try to fight off the machines and, you know, bring back civilization on top. Now, the bad news is the machines are planning an assault in 72 hours on Zion. So they have 72 hours to figure out some type of plan to stop them. So they're really banking on Neo to do, you know, some chosen one type things. So Morpheus, the one that is a really true believer of the prophecy, and there's some others, but like he's probably like the loudest when it comes to that. He has a plan, and he's telling some others just to stick outside of Zion, just to stay in the matrix, just to hope for the Oracle to reach out for we can get some information. So this is where we find out that Agent Smith is still alive, number one, and he gives his earpiece to Neo. Like he gives a message, and it's in an envelope. Neo opens the envelope, and it's his earpiece. So it's like Agent Smith is no longer an agent of the Matrix. So what is going on? What's going to deal with that? So this is where we find out that Agent Smith has not. We thought he was dead, but no, he's come back, and he is a problem, and he's way stronger. Now he can duplicate himself, and he does that by just jabbing his hand into any program, any person, or it doesn't really matter. If he touches you and gets through, he can infect you, and he just makes a copy of himself. So now you work for him. You are him. We are Agent Smith. So all this is going on while Neo and the gang are trying to figure out what to do to save Zion. So part of the Oracle tells him that he needs the Keymaster, and this person will help open a door that he's supposed to go through to do something to give them a chance or whatnot. And the whole plan is the window is tight, and they're not sure how they're gonna be able to do this. And this is going on while Neo is having fear of losing Trinity. He's been having the same recurring nightmare of her she's just like in a battle with Agent. She falls back through a window and shooting back, gets shot, and there's a crash at the end, but he doesn't know who crashes. And that's when he wakes up. He's been having this recurring nightmare, so he has this fear, but he also has, chosen one stuff where he has to, stick up for the people and try to help them overcome this huge obstacle. Now, this is where he tries to get the Keymaster from I'm gonna call him Miro. But Miro is like this. He's such a twat. He's this person that loves French, and just has to be very pompous about everything, and he's kind of a dickhead, but he has a interesting philosophy. And his philosophy is, there is no real choice. There's only, cause and effect. You came here because the Oracle told you. Now, why? Why do you need the Keymaster? Why would I give him to you? Why? And he can't give him a real why. So he's just like, I don't really give a fuck about y'all, yada, yada, yada. I'm gonna go ahead and go to the bathroom. He's not really going to the bathroom. He's going to go cheat on his wife. His wife knows he's going to go cheat. And instead of, sticking by her man's side, she goes, yeah, I'm gonna help y'all out because he's an asshole, yada, yada, yada. What happened to true love, all that type of stuff. So, with that going on, the character of the wife, her name is Pesperon, just like she's named after the wife of Hades. And she goes, I could tell that y'all love each other. Neo, I want you to kiss me like I was her. And I'm like, oh. And Trinity's like, what the fuck? And Trinity about to pop a bullet, and he's like, yo, we need her help. So at first he just gives a peck, and she's like, well, nope, I guess I'm not doing it. He's like, all right, fine. And he gives her embraces her and gives her a very passionate kiss, and she's like, yes, I can feel the love, yada yada. Helps her get through. She ends up killing one of the Miro's henchmen, and she tells the other one to go tell her what she's done, yada yada. Then she brings him to the Keymaster. Keymaster's like, I've been waiting. And he's literally just like, you think he's like something different, but no, he's literally just a dude that makes keys. So it's a program that makes keys. So they trying to escape with him, and Miro comes back. He's like, how could you do this to me? He said, you were just getting kissed. He said, what are you talking about? She said she wasn't kissing your lips. He's like, oh, come on, yada yada. And she's like, chill, and and then she goes scurries off. He doesn't do nothing to her. So I'm guessing they've known each other for a long time, and this shit just happens. Anyway, what's interesting is the great fight scene that occurs in this sequence. Morpheus and Trinity run off with the Keymaster, try to make him for they can escape with him, and Miro sends two albino dreadlock having people to go after them. And meanwhile, he's fighting like, I think it's like at least 5 or 7 against himself, and he's holding his own. It's going crazy. There's some great shots where he's just like, man, Neo is really. Firstly, I don't know why, but they all shot at him and just fell to the ground. Miro's like, oh well, hey, you're special. That was quite a trick. So now he's boxing all of them, pop. He's getting weapons, he's getting some size. He's doing everything he can to whip up on them. And some of these he's just making them hit themselves. He's trapping them, and then towards the end he just smashes all of them, going completely bonkers. And Miro's just like, you know what, whatever, bro. I'm gonna see you again, and he just runs off to find his wife, I guess. But as this is going on, we're seeing a great chase and action sequence between the albino ghost versus Morpheus and Trinity and Keymaster. So they're on the fucking freeway, going just it's a great chase sequence, plus the action sequences with the fight scenes within the car. Agents are spurred up because it's a stolen car that they're in, so whole bunch is going on. It's very chaotic, which leads to a great scene with Morpheus fighting an agent on top of a moving truck. And this scene, not one of my favorite action sequences, but it definitely was a highlight of this film in particular. I think Morpheus was definitely holding his own. He had some great sequences, but they was able to get the upper hand, and Neo was able to come through, fly them away. And then this is where they start setting up the mission to for him to access that door, just one particular door. And before I get into that, I gotta go back and talk about Agent Smith again, because there's a run-in with Agent Smith and Neo, and this is when Neo finds out that he has been multiplying, and he's fighting 100-to-1 Agent Smith versus Neo, and it's bonkers. And some of it is CGI and it looks kind of wonky, but I like to think of it as when your computer can't handle too much data or something, and just things start looking kind of iffy. That's kind of it was, because it's think about the Matrix might not be able to handle seeing these many agents fight this one person, and Neo's holding his own, going crazy. There's some great shots of him just walloping on Agent Smith, but it's so many Agent Smiths that it's just it's hard to handle, but he's able to escape. And wow, Agent Smith is so funny, because in my head I didn't really think of him as this big bad villain. Yeah, he was a minor, he had his moments within the first movie, but now he's becoming a larger threat for Neo. So now they come to the point where they got to do this mission, and they recruited ex-love interest of Morpheus to help out, by the name Niobe, played by Jada Pinkett Smith. And they're trying to get this mission done. And the bad news is that there's Agent Smith has copied himself into a real person, and there are within the ranks of Zion, and able to sneak aboard onto a ship of the team that's executing. And he has sabotaged some of the ships and blew up an EMP. So now they have none of the ships back in Zion are able to fight. So now there's only three or two ships that are capable of finishing the mission. So now that's its own hijinks that's going to play more part in the third movie. But with the second movie, agents they're lining up everything, and there comes a sequence where they're at the door, and Agent Smith pops up, and it's a whole fight sequence. But Morpheus, the Keymaster, and him are able to get through, but the Keymaster dies. But he gives him the last key, and this will take him back home, and everything will be he just dies off because he was a program. He accomplished his mission. Now with Neo, he gets through the door, and It's just this dude sitting in a chair, and this is where he finds out that it's actually the architect. This is the person who created the Matrix, and apparently, he says Neo is not really that special because he's an anomaly in the Matrix, but it's an anomaly that the architect has now prepared for. He is just the sixth chosen one of sorts to break through. And because of that, he has a choice. Either he could go through one door and, reload everything, and it'll kind of be like a fresh start for everyone. But basically, it just like gives Zion another chance because they let the population grow up, they kill them off, and then they just do it all over again. It's been a cycle, and shoot, if it's 2199 and it may have started in 1999, then who knows how long they've been doing this. So he knows this was the right thing to do. He knows that's like to give Zion a chance. He has to do that, or he could save his love Trinity, and he chooses to save Trinity. He goes through flying, causing a storm, and he's able to just catch her from falling, and he gets her, and she just kind of dies. But he's like, no, I'm not allowing that. He already done took off the bullet out of her body. He reaches inside and starts like squeezing her hard to pump it, to jump start it, and it works. He's able to bring her back to life. So she goes, yeah, I guess you owed me one. So now they brought both each other back to life. They're kind of happy about that. But now time is getting shorter. Time is definitely of the essence, and Zion needs to be protected. And before that happens, their ship goes down, and they're about to die by squids. These are like the mechanical guardians of the machines. He uses like some telekinetic pulse to just shut them all down. And when he does that, he just passes out, and it turns out that he's just been put into a coma, and they don't know what to do. And that's how the second film ends. And I definitely enjoyed this film a little bit less than the first, but I will go more into detail about that shortly. Now I want to talk about the third film. Now, again in 2003, Matrix Revolution. This film was supposed to be the last film of the series, but as you know what happened in 2021, that's not the case. But it definitely feels like the final movie of a franchise. Now, this film is like direct sequel. There ain't been no time at all. It literally starts exactly where we left off. Neo's body, kind of like an out-body experience. He's in a coma, and Agent Smith, who's inside one of the Zion folks' body, because he copied them within the Matrix, and they're kind of just like mirroring of each other, or how they're laying down. This is where Morpheus is trying to talk to the folks, and he's just like, "Hey, let's get back in the Matrix and look for Neo." He's like, "But how will he be in the Matrix? Like when he passed out, he wasn't linked up." He said, "I don't know. There's just he getting the feeling," and this is when the bodyguard of the Oracle calls for Morpheus and says, "Yeah, hey, she needs to talk to you." Click, and then they come through, and this is where we find out that he is actually in the Matrix. He doesn't know how he got there, but he's not really like in the Matrix. He's kind of like in limbo. And funny enough, one of the sign it's like a train station, like kind of like not train station, like a subway, like underground subway. That's where he's located. And if you look at the one of the signs that say where it's located, it's like something Ave, and it's an anagram for limbo. So literally, he's in between the Matrix and the real world. So he's there, and he meets these programs, and the program's talking about, yeah, I love my daughter. I gotta do this to be saved, yada yada. He's like, love? I thought that's a human emotion. And then the program's like, no, that's just a word. We have actual feelings and whatnot, like fear and all that. And it's like, this is the first time Neo really starts to look at the programs differently. He never really thought of them other than just things that either shape the Matrix or keep them in line. So this is the first time where he's having this interaction, and I definitely think it causes a little change within his thought process. But now, the problem being is that the person that runs the train station, basically like the conductor, he works for Miro. Remember Miro? Miro is very mad that they took the Keymaster from him. So he got a bounty on Morpheus's, Trinity, and Neo's head. So when the conductor finds out that he's there, he's like, oh yeah, I'm leaving your ass right there, boy. I know Miro gonna love this. Funk goes off with the family. And now Neo's stuck, and he tries to like run through the same way the train came from, and goes right back to where he started from. So at this point, Morpheus, Trinity, and Seraph infiltrate the club that Miro owns. Another good fight scene. A lot of great upside down fights, which is really interesting, and I thought it was really cool. And that leads with them, getting to where they need to, and they're having this conversation, and guns are drawn when they, Trinity's telling him, hey, you gonna do this, or I'm gonna put a bullet in your head. And Miro's like, you ain't gonna do it. And then his wife is like, no, she really love him. She will do it. She will risk it all for him. And like, he's just looking at it like, bro, this is insane. So he does it. He makes the conductor take him over there to get Neo. Neo gets relinked, so he's back in his human body. And now he's been having a little bit of visions, and he thinks he knows what he must do after kind of like separating himself. He believes he has to go to Machine City, like the headquarters of the machines, of the Sentinels. And he don't know what he has to do, but he knows he has to go there. And that's going to cost a ship. They only have 2 ships right now. So Nubia gives up her ship, and him and Trinity go off in one direction, and Nubia, Morpheus, and the rest of the gang are all going back to Zion to kind of help fight off the upcoming threat. And time is very much so of the essence. And as they're heading back to Zion is getting attacked. They have broken through the concrete by drilling. Not the concrete. They broke it through the barrier. So now squids are all over the place. We have machines. Not machines. They're in suits. They're kind of like Gundams, but like bare bones, kind of like what they did in Avatar. That's probably exactly where they got it from. Or if you need better case, like the Alien movie what that character uses. But anyway, they're shooting back at the squids, trying to hold it down. They got like individual people shooting rockets at them, at the machines. They trying to make sure the drill doesn't get through all the way towards the bottom. And all this is going on, and it's just utter chaos going on at Zion. And as this is going on, there as Trinity and Neo are trying to head to Machine City, they find out that Agent Smith in the human body that he's using snuck onto their ship after killing somebody on the other ship and snuck aboard. And now he has them at gunpoint at knife point first, and then he makes Neo give up the electric gun, and he knocks her down. And it took a while for Neo to figure out that this is Agent Smith, but I know it's not the same actor voice in this situation, but like he is literally able to mimic Agent Smith's voice to a T. So it's like, bro, how do you not know it's him? Like cadence and everything. He's calling you Mr. Anderson. Nobody in the real world call you Mr. Anderson. You should know who this is. Neo is slow as hell. But anyway, they start scrapping it. And this leads to Neo end up getting blinded by the character. And now Neo's trying to like blindly try to follow him, trying to figure out where he's at before he can finish off the fight. And the character got like a metal pipe, and he said, yeah, no, goodbye, Mr. Anderson. And he swings, and Neo dodges clean like he's in the Matrix. And he's like, I can see you. And now Neo can see like what he saw within the Matrix. It's kind of out, but instead of green, it's like this yellow color. So he sees like all this. So like he sees this yellow figure with sunglasses, and it's clearly Agent Smith. So now he finished the job. He takes him out, right in the head. He's done. But he's blinded now, but he can still see in his own way. So jokingly, he tells Trinity, "You gonna have to drive." We already trusted her. We're driving anyway. She's kind of been driving these ships for a while now, but that's neither here nor there. So as that going on, Nubia's whipping the hell out of the ship through some metal pipes to get back to Zion, and the owner, the captain of that ship is like, "There's no way this is going on," and she's going like, she really whipping like she like a NASCAR, like a professional, like 3-point turning this big ass ship, and the captain goes, "Man, I didn't know she could do this," and then she go towards the end, he's like, "Damn, she a good driver." He flying the fuck out of it, and Morpheus just trying to help out where he can, but it's like, damn, he cannot keep up, and she is going fast as possible, But that's going on. They do end up making it back to Zion, using MP to take out the current machines that are there, but it's kind of like fucks up the rest of their technology. So now they're kind of like sitting ducks, waiting for the machines to come back and trying to figure out how that battle's going to look out. Neo and Trinity do end up making it to Machine City, but at the cost of Trinity's life. They crash, and it's just like a dramatic, sad, tragic scene of seeing him lose his just true love. And he already lost her once, and now he's losing her again. But now he's just sad, but he has to know he has to move on to finish the job. He gets to this area, and for some reason the machines form like this baby face type projection, and he's talking with it, and he's like, "Hey, I know Agent Smith is causing havoc for you in the Matrix. I can fix that." And to enlighten you all to what's been going on, like I said, Agent Smith is copying himself all over. And he gets to the Oracle and, copies himself within the Oracle. So now he's like powerful as fuck right now. He's like OP as hell. So he's like, "Hey, I can handle this for you, but I'm gonna need something." And they're like, "What do you want?" "Peace." They're like, "If you do it, we got you. But if you don't, Zion is done." They set up this whole thing where he can get hooked up into the machine for he go into the Matrix. So now we go into the final battle. Agent Smith versus Neo. And there's over maybe million or billion different Agent Smiths all in a row, like army style, but they're not attacking him. The Agent Smith that's at the most powerful, that's absorbed the Oracle, is who's going to fight him. But it's still him. So, they're scrapping, they're flying through the air. It's kind of like a Dragon Ball Z battle. It's going crazy. It's just everything about the Matrix is just chaos right now. And it's all because Agent Smith is just turned it upside down. Now, they're duking it out. They're having probably I wouldn't say it's their best fight, but it's their biggest fight. It feels very grand. It feels like, it has to end right here and now. And it comes to a point where Agent Smith ends up start talking like the Oracle, and this gives Neo understanding what he has to do. So he gives one more shot, boom, and then Neo basically kind of lets Agent Smith just jam his hand in his chest to copy him over, and Agent Smith thinks he's won, but that's when he realized he hasn't. And Neo just Neo that got turned into Agent Smith just blows up, and then it starts a chain reaction for the other Agent Smiths. They all start blowing up with this blue light eyes, and it was kind of like an antivirus type thing. And then Agent Smith blows up himself, and then the Matrix just corrects itself. And when this happens, it goes into if you didn't think the one meant literally like a Messiah type thing, the Wachowskis drive the point very much so home, as Neo in the real life, while he's jacked up, shines like a bright light, like a cross. He's already kind of in T-pose, he's on the cross as well. So shine bright, boom, and that's basically how the film ends. All the machines leave Zion. All the people of Zion are cheering. Neo is supposedly dead. The machines kind of just cart his body away, and the Matrix reflips, and some people that we see in the film, the programs in the film, everything's gonna be nice now. And the architect and the Oracle have a conversation, because they're kind of the mother and father of the Matrix. And he goes, "You think that was a good job? You think it's supposed to happen?" Hey, she's like, "Peace. That's what I wanted, and change is gonna come. Yada yada yada." And she's like, "You have the agreement was to let go of the people that want to be out of the Matrix. That's what Neo wanted with that piece. If some people want to stay, fine, it's whatever. But if they want to come out, they should get the opportunity to come out." And the architect is like, What do you think? I'm human? Of course I'm gonna let them out if they want to come out. And then he walks off. And that's the end of Revolution. And for a final film, or like supposedly final film in a trilogy, I think it does well in some aspects, but like it's just like kind of just like it feels a little stretched. Like they really added stat padded some run on time, but overall I think it still was a great film. Now the last film I will be talking about is 2021 Matrix Resurrection, directed by not both Wachowskis, just Lana Wachowski this time. And this film, just like many legacy sequels to older franchises, this one, okay, the majority of these types of film feel like a cash grab, and they feel very lackluster compared to the other films in that director's catalog. And this is one of those cases as well. Almost 20 years since the last movie, and this time it's like, oh my god. Okay, so basically, Neo. Well, let's start with the beginning of the film. The film begins, and it's like we have these characters that we've never heard are talking, and we're seeing like a play-by-play of how the first movie started, but with the very minor changes. One of the changes is this time Agent Smith is not Hugo Weaving. It's a black dude who kind of looks like he's trying to be knockoff Morpheus. So play-by-play of exactly what the officer says to Agent Smith, all of that. Then we get to see Trinity kick the asses of all these people again, but this time, it lacks the, je ne sais quoi of the first fight, the first time we seen her fight. So the character that we are like, who we're kind of like following along with, is kind of following the whole steps of what's going on, and she's like, no, something's weird about this. Something doesn't make sense about what's going on. This is not how it happened. And she ends up getting caught by the Morpheus looking Agent Smith, and now she's in it all, and she's kind of like running away from agents and trying to like escape, and she's hiding off somewhere, and he gets her to go to one place, and he's like, yeah, no, something's been off this whole time. Like, I'm noticing like codes in my shower, all that type of stuff. He's like, yeah, because I can tell who you're supposed to be, and he's like, oh, I'm Morpheus. And she goes, all right, so even though you're a program, blue pill, red pill, and this is already a huge modification. A program is about to get the red pill, blue pill's choice. So like, I don't even know that before we even get further into the film, we don't even know what the implications are in this new world that we're in. So he takes the red pill, kind of foggy about it, but they able to escape and get back to the real world. And this is where we find out that Neo is not Neo. He is Thomas Anderson, and he is a legendary game designer. Everything that we thought was real in these previous Matrix franchise, that was all a game he designed, whatnot, yada yada. And so he's going through that, and this is where the film kind of adds on comedy a bit, and there's some it's just I'm sorry, this is such a drag to talk about this movie. Now Neo is going through like crisis of some kind. Apparently he almost tried to kill my fault, Thomas Anderson almost tried to kill himself. So now he's just kind of talk to his therapist and whatnot, and his business partner in the company for making the games, they basically kind of Mr. Smith-esque how he talks and whatnot. And Anderson goes, yeah, I probably gotta talk to my therapist. And he's just talking to him. He's just like, yeah, either I am crazy, either I'm losing my mind again, or I'm back in the Matrix again. And he's like, yeah, nah, yada yada. You don't gotta worry about that. Just make sure you take your pills. And the pills that he described are literally the blue pills. So he's like, like downing himself and like keeping himself like docile for some reason, but we don't know. And the character that the fake Morpheus, he's not the fake Morpheus, but I'll get to that. But this new Morpheus starts to interact with him, and he's just like, hey, blue pill, red pill, it's time. And he's like, no way, no way, no way. And he starts to run off, and then it's a gunfight. New Morpheus come through exactly like the guns that the old Morpheus had, popping back, going crazy. And the business partner starts talking exactly like Mr. Smith, and we find out that it is Mr. Smith, just like a different look. And he tries to kill Neo, and we see a cat, and it's literally named Deja Vu, and that goes back to the first film, and it resets back into the therapist's office, and he just like kind of refreshes everything. And well, I don't really, basically, I'm just gonna get into the gist of the film. I don't even need to be talking about it this long anymore. So he was brought back to life, and so was Trinity, and they're using them to power this new Matrix. And this new Matrix is not based off of like too much like the last Matrix. The reason the new villain, who's called the analyst, he think the architect failed because the architect was so numbers focused, and he never really thought too much of human emotion. But the new Matrix, which has been more proficient, and it's because it's relying more on the human emotion aspect, and they're making them kind of just like, instead of just bored with their lives, the more angry, depressed, or like, the different, when they felt some type of way, this is where it wants to keep their mind in the Matrix. That's when they don't want to leave. And they're using the foundation of Trinity and Neo as like kind of like this base, but like they can't get together, because once they get together, it's like a chain reaction happens. So they are close in range, right? They're cordial, but because of the programming of the Matrix, they're separated for some reason. This time Trinity is married with kids, and he's a game designer, he's on his own, yada yada. So Neo's able to get broken out again the same way as the first movie. The effects are not as good, but it's still disgusting, and I feel like the mouth tube this time is even longer, and that was kind of gross, so I give him a nod to that. But this is where we find out the new future that is in, and it's been a pretty long time since the first film, literally and figuratively, within inside the movie. So it's like it's been like over 60 years or longer, and just like the same things are going on. It's still the human breeding farms for the babies, so they can still the machines, but like that kind of like slowed down. They're not like continuing to do it like that, but like machines are facing machines now, so like it's a whole bunch going on. And also some of the machines, the Sentinels, are good. Like they like to just hang out with the humans and kind of move forward with that. And also programs are able to like interact on the outside, kind of like a whole bunch of magnets are stuck together and clumped, and it forms that program's face and body type of things, and they're able to like interact and everything. And they've built a new place called Oa. I think Oa, yeah, Oa. And the leader of Oa is an older Nubia, and I thought it was a different actress, but I really had to look, and it really is Jada Pinkett Smith. And I don't know how she's able to. I think this was a good, not like her best performance, but like I did not think that was her. So makeup design wise, and her portraying an older version of her character was excellent. So I'll give a nod to that. But brash characters within Bugs, who helped bring out Neo this time around, and her crew and her ship, plus the new Morbius, who he created within the Matrix, and it's a blend of Morbius and Agent Smith. So like the character itself is so like fused with so many different polar opposites, and the program is going through its own like crisis of trying to figure out its own identity. But overall, towards the end, they're able to break out Trinity, and they're going to try to create a new world within the Matrix to dispute what the analyst has caused. And oh yeah, now Trinity has powers too, just like if she was the one, so she can fly and do stuff. And she was whooping the analyst's ass towards the end. So that was it was kind of like slapstick. Um yeah, that's about it. And I'll get into talking more about what I thought about the series as a whole right now. Now, for highlights of the first trilogy as a whole, I must give credit to Yuen Wu Ping. He is a highlight of his own. If you're not familiar with his name, Yuen was the fight choreographer for these films, and he has a catalog of his own for directing, as well as plenty of different action films that he's was choreographer for. So if you need to be enlightened, please look up Yuen Wu Ping and go watch his films. Something that I thought was interesting was his work from Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2 and Kung Fu Hustle. So that's just to name a few, but he has Drunken Master under his belt as well. Oh, he has a lot of movies. He's a legend in Hong Kong, so definitely check out his work. But that's neither here nor there. So the actors have to train for like at least 3 or 4 months, and Ewan saw them and he saw that they weren't really as fit as he thought they were. So what he thought to do was to kind of implement what their strong suits in their characters' fighting styles. So like for Trinity's case, Trinity's actress was kind of very elegant and like feminine with her. Like when she fought with grace. So he really pushed for that. And this goes along with each character of like the main 4 characters of each film. So he really put in a lot of work with there, and it definitely shows. I think compare the first 3 fight choreography compared to Resurrection is like night and day. It feels very like luster in Resurrection, whereas in the first 3 is just like, yes, this is exactly what I want in a movie. It's just phenomenal work. The next thing I want to highlight is the Wachowskis themselves. I think for the first 3 films, so together the Wachowskis were able to create such a powerful film that impacted pop culture, not just films but pop culture. Like literally, if you see someone like falling back in slow-mo, you know exactly what they're referencing. So definitely a highlight for them. I think bullet time, that special effects sequence is iconic. It's everything about these movies are iconic, so like almost everything feels like a highlight. To get specifically, let me talk about the roles. Keanu Reeves as Neo. I don't think no one else can play him, and the fact that Will Smith almost played him, I just thank the Most High that the fact that Will Smith did not play Neo, because he could not do this. Like he did not have the Will Smith is not a bad actor, but like he was not Neo. Lawrence Fishburne as Morpheus, definitely a great highlight, iconic role. Apparently this is supposed to be Val Kilmer, and that would have been hilarious. I probably would have laughed. I would not take this serious. But Lawrence Fishburne, that man right there, genuine. Karen Ann Moss as Trinity, one of the best strong women figures in fiction. She has the main 3 characters of these series all have a signature move that they do, and that little like floating crane kick type thing that she does, love it. And probably a standout that's probably right next to Keanu is Hugo Weaving as Agent Smith. Like I did not think Agent Smith will be the character he becomes. Like he went from like kind of like a minor villain to like a problem to like he is now the big bad. Even the Machine is asking the request of Neo, are working together to get rid of him because he's literally messing up everything. And Hugo has such a fun time with this. He had like this, just the cadence that he's using is just like very annoying, but like pompous, and just like utter dickheadness about him. But like facial expression wise, Hugo was like losing. He was just looking bonkers. But it was just like a fun time from him. Another thing that I like about it is about the series. I guess I'm not counting the Resurrection in what I'm talking about right now. Within the series, I love the discussion of the different philosophies and religions. Like there's so many different topics going on, and I think what really stuck to me is something that I learned about during my second semester of college, and that was Plato's Allegory of the Cave, and that really exuberates the first film. Um, for Plato's Allegory Cave to like kind of just do a paradox paraphrase. Um, the Allegory of the Cave is about like these people have never exited the cave, but like there's a light going on and they see the shadows of what's outside on the walls. So they believe what they see on the wall is reality. That's what they know. But it takes for one person to step out and see what's really causing that shadow to really get the grasp of what's going on. And Plato will consider this person a philosopher, and that philosopher's job is to go back and try to enlighten as many people as possible what's real and what's not, and spark this conversation, spark the brain of these people to think for themselves. And this is what the Matrix is. The Matrix is the cave, and they don't know that they're stuck in the cave. And it's up to philosophers, in a sense, like Morpheus, like Neo, like Trinity, and the rest of Zion and Iowa, to do that, to bring in more people, to enlighten them to what's really going on, before they can fend for themselves and continue to have a proper life. There's others, and there's way more videos that can go into detail about these different philosophies and religions better than I can, but that's just something that I was pretty knowledgeable on, so I wanted to speak on that. Overall, Resurrection did a good job in the sense of it. There's certain aspects that I like about certain action sequences and some of the ideas that I wanted to talk about. It's just the execution wasn't there, and I don't know, it just didn't have the life of the other. So with that being said, I think I'm going to, if I was to rank the films, it's literally about the release order. Honestly, I enjoyed The Matrix the best. That's a clear 5 out of 5. 5 stars. 4.5 stars for Matrix Reloaded. 4 stars for Revolution. And sadly, Resurrection is getting 2.5 stars. I don't know what happened there, but hey, what else can I say? Reviewing this whole series has definitely been a joyous occasion. I literally watched basically this whole franchise within 3 days, basically, and probably could have done it in a single day, but decided to take it easy on myself. But I think it's definitely thought-provoking. I think the impact is there. This is definitely overall one of my favorite franchises that I've gotten to experience and got to talk about. But with all that being said, do you agree with what I said about these films? Have you seen these films for yourself and have a different opinion? If so, please drop all these in the comments below. Remember to like and subscribe to help your boy out. Share with others so more people can join the party and join the conversation. I truly appreciate y'all support, and I love y'all for it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again for another Rorvis Reviews. Peace.